I am literally just recreating this gray and navy tank top, but in a much nicer design. Like, what? Take two. Hello and welcome to Losing My Knit episode 8. I'm Jeff. I am mostly a knitter, sometimes a crocheter. I'm gonna sew something in the next 60 days. I promise. That bag is coming back. I am based in Boston with my husband Tim and our Barnadoodle Barnaby. Welcome to the free-for-all that's my fiber life. It's a little bit messy, but keeps me going. You can find me on Instagram at losing.my.knit and Ravelry and Blue Sky at losingmyknit, no periods, or you can scan any of these QR codes. Let me know if those are helpful. I think one person's done it, but they're there if you want them. Welcome back to those of you that are returning. Thank you. Welcome to those who have stumbled across my channel, whether it's from someone else or Instagram or whatever. Welcome. You're welcome. Hopefully you'll stick around for a little bit. This one's probably going to be a long episode, I think, based on how much notes I have. But hopefully you'll stick around. And if you're watching and you've watched before and you haven't subscribed, throw me a like or a subscribe. I'm so close to 1,500, which is still mind-boggling. It's like 100. Like I'm still like, how did I get to 100? And then all of a sudden 500 and 1,000 and close to 1,500. So would love a follow. But if not, I get it. You do you. So where have I been? It's been a wild month. I think last episode I had recorded it. We went to North Carolina. I recorded a little snippet, edited it, and posted it the next day. That was July 4th week. The day after that, we went to a massive yarn shop in the mountains of North Carolina. I'll talk about that a little later. We then came home. It's just been a very busy month with lots of work and all sorts of things, and I'm gearing up to go to Denver next week, week after next, so weekend after next for work. So it's been busy. Barnaby got sick earlier this week, so it's kind of thrown off the whole week. He's doing fine. He's better. He's been a little more clingy than usual, so he may try and burst through the door, but it's actually shut because Tim's home, and that's also thrown off my schedule. It's just one of those weeks. Get in, losers. We're going to talk about yarn. So much yarn and projects and everything. I hope you have fun. So, finished objects. I have 3 finished objects this month. I went from 0 last month to 3 this month. The first one, unfortunately, I can't show you. It's that secret test knit. I bound it off, soaked it, washed it, blocked it. Love it. Hopefully you'll be able to see it, and I'll talk about it in spring of 2026. Secret test knit. I made it with Universal Everyday DK Superwash yarn. Did not enjoy working with it, but once it was washed and blocked, it's very super soft. It did grow. I think it's going to grow, which hasn't happened to me with Superwash, but because it's designed and the fit was oversized to begin with, I don't mind it. It's just going to get a little longer. My second finished object is the muscle burrow I've been working on. So this is made with honey and quill lobster roll. Oh, wrong one. Lobster roll. So if you ever had a lobster roll, you can see sort of the lights and the darks and the reds. I then striped it with Nauset Light. And it was fun. I love these. This is like, I don't know, my 5th or 6th that I've made. And if you haven't seen it, the way it works is you fold the 2 heads in, the crowns in, like that, and then you fold up the brim, and you've got a hat. The person I made this for, I think it's going to be way too big. Maybe their husband can use it. We'll see. But the other part is that it is reversible. So you just do that. Refold up the brim. Reversible. I will say, looking back on it, I'm not 100% sure what happened, but my crowns are two different sizes. I knit them with the exact same needles, but what happened, you can see, so they're lined up by stripes here, but you can see the red one's just a little bit bigger. I think what happened is I cast it on and did maybe 3 or 4 rows, and then I knit all the increases on a plane, and so I think I was pulling it super tight, and then everything after that was not done on a plane, or like some of the body was done on a plane, but what that tells me is that I need to make sure I'm just in the round, no decreases, no increases, by the time I get on a plane. So it was a little disappointing, but it still fits. It works great. It's a little bit of a mismatch when you look at it from this side. The other thing that I learned, or that I need to do, is you can't see it so much now. You can just see right here this stripe. Like, it's barely visible, but that's where I did try to do the seamless. See, if I turn it this way, it's vertical. So if you see that right there, over here, I tried to do seamless joins, so it gave you true flat stripes. I apparently did not follow the instructions. I just did what I thought made sense. Here, we can do a closer view. So that diagonal line right there. It's not really noticeable. I don't think a knitter would notice it. But I did what I thought was the instructions, and then I looked back and I was like, oh, that's not the instructions. And then I saw a couple of other ways to do it. So I do want to try. I want to make another one with stripes. I want to try a different kind of jogless join, not seamless, jogless join. What I'm thinking, so I've got a couple of yarns I've been thinking about for it. What I'm thinking is maybe 4 stripes, 4 row stripes instead of 2, so that each one would be like these 2 stripes here, that would be 1 stripe, and then these 2 would be 1 stripe. I'm thinking that. I'm also thinking maybe doing stripes on the ends and then solids in the middle. So just have fun with it. We'll see. Plenty of yarn set aside for hats that I will do. Yeah, so that's object number 2. My third object is a statement piece. It is the Trinigan cardigan by Andrea Mowry. It is my first cardigan. It was a journey. A couple of things I learned before I show it to you. One, trust the pattern. The sleeves, I think, are supposed to be 3/4. Mine look closer to full length. 2, if it splits for like left front and left right, like a cardigan or a V-neck or anything like that, I now know I need to do this 2 at a time. One side somehow had more stitches, but had the same number of pattern repeats, so I'm not 100% sure what happened there. And it's not even the pickup. Like, the pickup was, I was doing it right, but there were just so many more on the one side. Whatever, it's a ribbed collar, you can't tell, but that is telling me that, so like I've got a couple of sweaters where I know they split for left and right front. Coming up in the near future, I will be doing them 2 at a time, just so that I can make sure the rows are the same. Probably should also do sleeves 2 at a time. I don't think I didn't do that with this. They match, I counted. But the good part is it's designed to be oversized. So that part didn't matter as much. And color too, and it's a house. It'll be a house cardigan for me. I don't really think it's something that I would wear out. Maybe to walk the dog. We'll see. I promise I'll show you in a second. The other thing that I really liked about it was the 3 needle bind off. So it's a visible seam at the shoulders, just to kind of create, 1, I loved how much structure it gives, and then 2, I really liked that contrasting shoulder. Yeah, so are you all ready to see this? Here it is. It's my cardigan. Okay, so let's see. So this is what it looks like. Not on, I'll put it on in a second. I'm still trying to cool off. But these are the sleeves, really big. It's kimono inspired, I think. But I love this detail. It doesn't stand out quite as much, but the 3 needle bind off. I debated doing it in the lighter green, but then I was like, that might be way too bright. I kind of wish I had, but I like look how strong that seam is there. So, yeah, there it is. And then the collar, I do love the collar. It's a simple, I don't know, 2x2 rib, I think. Italian bind off. Took forever. I'm talking hours, but 100% worth it. I did switch it to 1x1 ribbing, and then you kind of graft it together. Yeah, that's it. So that's what it looks like on. We're gonna try it on and see how it looks. Oh, my desk might need to go up a little so you can actually see it. No buttons. It's not designed to have buttons. It's designed to be worn open. Yeah. The length is good. I could imagine doing it even longer and like having like a mini house coat. But yeah, the sleeves were designed to be 3/4. Mine are full length kimono sleeves. But it's, you know, it works. I love the neck. Yeah, there it is. I love it. It's going to be so nice in the winter. I'm going to be sitting here at my desk, typing away, working in it. But yeah, and these details, I loved the way that it ended up striping. So again, the colors I use, and look at the inside. Look at the inside. Like, look at those, the way the colors go. So the darker color is Deep Sea. This is Cascade 220 Wave Superwash. The lighter color, so the contrast color here, the lighter greens and the lighter blues you see in the background is blue-green, so same Cascade 220 Superwash Wave. That's what it looks like. I would keep it on, but just having it on for like the last 30 seconds, do a little dab. I'm sweaty. But like, can you imagine like coming in to a Zoom meeting and I'm there and I'm just like, hello, how are you? Like, look at it tickles me. Look how cute this is. And the sleeves, like, what is this? But anyway, so I love it. It's I'm so glad I did it. I knocked the mic off the table. That was gonna be funny. I'm glad I did it. I'm glad I made it. I don't think I would make it again, and I'll talk about why in a second. That's my Trinigan cardigan. So, the piece that I want to talk about, where I want to spend a little bit of time on this as a finished object, is the cost. So, I made it in, it was designed for Spin Cycles Dyed in the Wool Trini yarn base, and that's what Andrea Mowry made hers in, and I did not. So one of the things, I had this random idea last episode, is that I want to talk about what I spent and what the designer cost would be, what the cost would be if I did it in the yarn of the designer. So I made size 8 of 9. There's 9 sizes, super size inclusive. I probably could have made a 7, but as you saw, it kind of just closed over my stomach. But I wanted it a little oversized. It's really big in the sleeves. Love it. So I made size 8 of 9. What that meant is, according to the Ravelry page, I would need 1,800 yards in the main color, so that darker blue, and 450 yards in the contrasting color. Oh, I forgot something. And so I ended up buying, let's see. Okay, actually, let's keep going with the pattern. So that would mean, so for the 1,800 yards of the main color and the 450 yards in the contrasting color, in Trini by Spin Cycle, you would need 12 skeins, so they're 50 grain skeins of the main color, and 6 skeins of the contrasting color. I ordered, so then I used Cascade 220 Superwash, totally different price point, I'll talk about that in a second. I didn't script this out very well. I'm like, I want to share this information because it had such an impact on me when I actually did the numbers. So anyway, So 12 skeins of the main, 6 for the contrast. Right now, spin cycle, it's on sale for $22. So for those 18 skeins, it would be $396. Full price, Trini is $32. So full retail price, that would be $576 for those 18 skeins. $576. That's half a grand. That's a lot of money. To give Andrea Mowry credit, one of the things that she does is in each of her patterns, and I'm going to see if I can get this to work. I think it's this one. Yes, perfect. Okay. So you should now see that side. The pattern, the listing, the Trinigan pattern listing. So on all of her patterns, and this, kudos to her for doing this. If you scroll down, so all the way down at the bottom, after the gauge, after the technique, there's this section down here. All right, zoom in a little bit, where she does yarn substitution ideas. And what that does is you click on it and you get a PDF. And it's a very nicely designed PDF, and it's great. And broken down, she does this for each of her patterns. It's Trinigan Yarn Alternatives. She is very clear. Support your local yarn store if you can. She is very clear saying up here, they're merely suggestions. They haven't been tested necessarily. And then she breaks it down. So she's like main color alternatives. Harrisville, Stonehenge, Plymouth, Karen, Knit Picks. Love seeing Knit Picks on there. That's a more affordable yarn. Scroll down here. Contrasting yarn. Same ones again. Lion Brand. Affordable. So I love this. I absolutely think this is wonderful that she does this. I don't know if when she takes testers, she asks someone to knit it in a more affordable yarn. I know when I always apply to test, I tell people I'm going to do it in an affordable yarn because I am a larger size. It costs a lot of money. The thing, however, that drives me bonkers about this, like bonkers, let's just zoom in a little bit and see how she prices it. She doesn't put the cost of the skein. Almost all of these you can see are 100 gram skeins. We'll just scroll over, we'll see if they all are. So all of them except for the Knit Picks, that's a weird one, and Send Nisgarn. She puts the price per yard. Now I can appreciate that. From a math perspective, I can appreciate it. Because the spin cycle Trini yarn for a price per yarn at full cost is 21 cents. So every one of these are at least a third cheaper. And in this case, the Knit Picks case, it's, I can't do that math, 140% cheaper or something like that. I don't know. Wait, hold on. Seven times cheaper. And that's helpful. But who buys yarn by the yard? Like, what? Like, why is this, how is this helpful? Yeah, and so like that just, I was just like, are you kidding me? So like, sure, okay, I can spend, what was it, 573 or close enough, and then I can just do, yeah, but okay, so the problem I have with this is that you can't buy yarn by the yard. When you go over just one skein, you still have to buy the 100 grams. You still have to buy the 219 yards, or in the Trini case, you have to buy the extra 50 grams. So like, this means nothing. Like, this is not very helpful. Like, it does give you a price point, and you can try and get as close as possible. You can save that little bit of money, but like, oh, that's a struggle for me, because it's like, okay, that's not helpful. Okay, so let me go back to the original. Okay, so then now, so what we're talking about, so if I would have made it in my size in the recommended yarn, it would have been $576. I want to acknowledge one, a lot of independent dyers, and even my local yarn store are now doing an anti-fat tax. First off, hate the name, but kudos for doing it. Most often they are 10%. So at full price, not including taxes. So I live in Massachusetts, we charge taxes, not as much as other states, the whole Taxachusetts thing, no. Yes, but not from sales tax. If you take 10% off of full retail price of $576, it's still $518.40. If you take 10% off of the current sale price of $396, it's still $356.40. That is a lot of money for a sweater that you are then going to spend countless hours knitting, frogging, knitting, tinking, frogging, seaming, soaking, blocking, and you're done. And you know, if you want to do that and you have the funds, kudos to you for doing that. But when I saw that number, that magic, it was over half a grand to make my size. The first thought that went through my head was like, when designers do this, and they make it size inclusive, which I appreciate, do they ever calculate that cost? Especially the ones who don't put alternatives like Andrea Mowry. Because half a grand. So in contrast, so let's keep that 596 number, or 570. Where'd the number go? 576 number. So if I had made it in the design of what they said, 576. I instead made it in Cascade 220 Superwash Wave. Cascade retails for about $13 a skein. I am paranoid, and I always buy slightly more than what they recommend. That is a me problem. That is not a designer problem. I have never once been burned of a designer saying you need this much. I bought exactly that much and couldn't make it. I just know my gauge is sometimes super loose, so I'm going to need a little bit more, or I can't quite hit stitch count, and I'd rather go big than small. Gauge count. So I ended up buying 10 skeins of the deep blue. You'll hear about this. 10 skeins of this color. And 6 skeins of this color. The contrast color. As you can tell, I told you, I'm paranoid. I have leftovers. That is a me problem, not a designer problem. I bought too much. Remember when I panicked and was like, I'm not going to get there? I bought an extra one. And then I still had, I think that's what this yellow note is, I still had 49 grams of this one left. Okay, so, I bought some of it was on sale, some of it wasn't. I had to get it from two different, one from a local yarn store because they had just enough of the light blue, the blue-green color, and then the other I had to order online. So some I paid 11, some I paid $10.50, some I paid 14, so it varied. So I averaged it to $13. For my 16 skeins, I'm going to double check this math because I think I might be wrong. I paid $208. But I think I paid $208. If you take off the 3 that I bought because I'm paranoid, I paid $169. So skeins that I used, I paid $169 versus $576. That is 57% less than the Trini yarn when it's on sale. That is 70% less than the full price Trini yarn. Even if you add in those 3 extra skeins I bought because I was paranoid, 47% and 64%. That is how much money that I saved by using a cost-effective yarn. Again, this is not to rag on designers. That is not what this is. But this is more to say, hey, and I will actually, I'll show you this. I randomly saw this on YouTube the other day. It'll go right here. She's like, knitting a $3 skein, or crocheting a $3 skein of yarn versus a $32 skein of yarn. And I laughed at it because I'm pretty sure it was a shirt in one skein of yarn. And I'm like, if I made a shirt in one skein of yarn, it would be like just the collar or just the hem. Like that, no one needs to see me in that. And it just made me laugh because I was like, here, hold my beer, hold my Coke, hold my tea, hold my coffee, whatever you drink. This is how much I could have spent, and this is how much I spent. Again, mind-boggling. Yeah, so that's I just wanted to share that because I do think, and this is on me, this is on no one else. When I hear people complaining about casting on X number of stitches or knitting stockinette in the round for a body of a sweater, and they're making like a size 2 or a size 3 or like a 40-inch circumference, I'm just like, really? You're gonna complain about that when I'm over here knitting a 64 or a 68 circumference? 1, because I want that extra ease, and 2, because I'm tall, so I gotta do it even longer. I'm like, okay, go on with yourself. I'm just gonna not waste time and keep going with my stockinette over here. You learn to knit faster when you have to do bigger sizes because you want to get to the end. You're like, let me go. And a lot of larger sized people will actually choose not to make garments with smaller size yarns because it requires more, it takes so much longer, and it's a lot more work is put into it. And that's the whole drama around size inclusive testing times and that sort of thing. Like, it's all connected. But this expense piece was wild for me. So I'm going to be doing this moving forward. It won't be as in-depth. I think it'll be more of a, hey, this is what the pattern calls for, this is how much it would be, this is what I used, this is how much it was. Just to sort of shed some light on that, because yeah, you could not, even if you gave me $576, I wouldn't buy that yarn. I could get like 4 sweaters quantity in a Cascade 220, or Webb's, their brand Valley yarns. Like, I could get like 5 or 6 sweaters from that. I'm like, yes, it would be beautiful in spin cycle training, but I am way too cheap for that. So I think this, yeah, anyway, I don't even know how long I've been talking about this. I apologize. I'm also going to try a thing where I'm going to pull this section out and upload it as a second video so that if people just want to hear about this, they can hear it. So if that's you and you're seeing this, hi! I find it really interesting. And so yeah, moving forward, I will be doing it again, not as in-depth, more just an FYI of, hey, this is the yarn it was called for, this is what I would have spent, and this is what I'm spending. So thank you for coming to my second TED Talk this year. So, yeah, so that is done. I love it. I will live in it this winter. I will live in both of the sweaters, the one you can't see plus that one this winter. Not to mention the couple more that are on the soon-to-be knit list in this thing hanging over there that you can't see. One day you'll see that side, but it's still a mess. So those are my finished objects. For my whips in progress. That's like an ATM machine, automatic teller machine. My works in progress. For my whips, I have 2. I have not made no movement on my jelly roll. I've been trying to get those finished objects done. You saw both of these last time because I finished them. This is my granny square blanket. This was, June and July. So got those done ahead of time. And then I actually quick crocheted up the extra skein. Where is it? I'm going to lose that bowl too. I don't know where it is. The extra skein of the January. So this is the bright rainbowy one. So I'm still making progress on that. It's moving along. It was nice to get them done at the beginning of the month. So maybe after I'm done recording this, I'll go right into my August one, which I do not have caked up. I don't even have it over here. Yeah, I'm moving along. I'm getting excited to start to see them all together, and they just kind of live in a big box over there. The bulk of my time was finishing those projects, but then in the last week and a half or so, I have been flying through my preview knit. So I've mentioned this before, and I'll put a picture of it up here. The Vilu Summer Top by Rastus Hsu. I was obsessed when he posted it. I was like, I absolutely need to do that. And I was like, let me know what kind of yarn. I'm going to buy some yarn. But this has been a journey. So my original plan, so when he told me the weight, was to knit it. I ordered some Knit Pick Salvage. It is technically a sport weight, which it was not advertised as that. Now it is. I guess I just read it wrong. 95% cotton, 62 to 75% of which is recycled, and 5% other fibers. And it's soft. It's softer than I thought it would be, and I like it. I ordered 18 balls of it because they are 50 gram skeins. They're tiny. But I could not meet gauge. It's in plastic bags. I saw the rumors about the bugs, freaked out. Still haven't seen any pictures of them, so I don't know if that's true. I don't really know what was going on with that, but I freaked out, and even though it's not wool, I put it all in bags. There's nothing on mine. Yeah, so I attempted to knit it in the recommended gauge, on the recommended needle size. So I knit it once before. I then went down to one needle. So that was swatch 2, went down one needle. Halfway through I was like, there's no way this is much smaller. Went down to another size, so I went down to a size 1 to get to this one. And it's still too big. I was like, okay, I don't know if it's going to work. I then went to, actually no, this was a size 2. So I got to a size 2. I think it calls for a 5. And then I was like, okay, let me see what a size 1 is on the stockinette swatch. Still didn't get gauge. So these are technically swatches 3 and 4. And then I was like, okay, that's not going to work. Prior to that, we went to that big yarn store in North Carolina called Fiber and Friendship. 100% recommend. It's in Candler, North Carolina. Feels like you're going to the middle of nowhere. You come around a corner, there's this big metal building, and it is full of yarn. I'll put the photo of me right here standing outside of it. Beautiful, stunning vista behind it, and you walk in. I was overwhelmed. Didn't take any photos. I think the part that was the coolest part was the entire right wall. They had every color of Cascade, and they had it in from fingering all the way down to bulky. I don't think they had every color in every size, but on the wall they had every color, and I'm talking it was probably a good 100 feet. Like, it was huge. I should have taken a photo of it because I was like, oh my god, I can go look at all the colors that I couldn't get when I wanted to make those sweaters. So I was so overwhelmed, I actually ended up just going back to the sale section, which was this little small rack. And on the sale rack, I found cotton socks. So it is a 89% cotton, 11% nylon, 100 grams for 433 yards. I found it in this silver color. And then I also found this blue, navy. They had 4 skeins of silver, 1 of navy, and I was like, maybe I'll make another veloux. I hadn't swatched yet, but I was like, I feel like this would make a really great one, color combination. And so I had bought it. I was like, okay, maybe I'll do that. And if I don't do that, I can make something else, like a light summer weight tea. I did know I was going to need at least 1 or 2 more, so I put an order in from a woolen company. Got a couple more, same dye lot, thankfully. So I ended up with, I think, 6 and 1. So when these swatches didn't work out after we got back, I started to swatch on the cotton socks. So these are I made 4 additional swatches, so I got up to 7 total. 1, 2, 3, 4, 7 or 8 total. So this is on the size that the needle recommended pattern size. And then this is the size I ended up going with. I am knitting it on a size 3. So I only went down 2 needles. You can see the difference. Kind of see the difference. A little bit tighter, a little more formed. The problem with this one was the fabric was becoming so heavy, whereas this is like super light and drapey. Hit the mic again. So this was the most swatch project I've ever done. But look at this detail. Like, it just looks like it's braided. Those columns down the middle. Like, it's just stunning. So as soon as I was done with those projects, I cast it on. It's coming out in August. I told him ahead of time, I was like, I don't think I'm going to finish it, but because it's a preview knit, that's not the end of the world. And this is how far I've gotten. So you can see I did a blue hem. It's puckering a little bit. I think it'll, when it's blocked, it'll stretch it out. It's a double folded over hem and stockinette. And then you can see the pattern. I have no idea what you all see. Yeah, you can see the pattern, the repeats. It's not easy. I'm excited when it'll be a little more, you'll be able to see through it a little more, a little airy. I find it simple. The good part about all of these, and as you'll see, I did rip some of them out because I was like, I can't keep wasting yarn on swatching. I memorized the pattern during the swatch, so I just cast on. I was like, all right, let's go. And I've just been moving along really quickly. So I am hoping to finish this in the next couple of weeks. It'll be a great summer weight. It's a tank, as you've seen. It'll have contrasting armholes and a neck as well. Yeah, so it is moving along. What I realized yesterday is I was sitting downstairs in the morning knitting it, and I was sitting in a tank top. And y'all, I gotta show you this because I am still giggling about it. This is the tank top I was sitting in. I am literally just recreating this gray and navy tank top, but in a much nicer design. Like, what? And like, I've definitely worn this while I was knitting it before, but like yesterday for some reason it clicked, and I was like, no wonder I thought this would go so well together. Like, because I already had one. So yeah, that's I'm just recreating a tank top. Oh man, like I was giggling so much about that. So that is my main work in progress. I think I'll finish it this month. It's moving along really quickly. It'll be great for our cruise ship trips. I can just wear it to the pool. So yeah. For the veloux, so the pattern recommends 2,444 yards for my size. These cables eat up a lot. It's also designed to be drapey. When it comes to the velu costs, so like I said, I was going to do this. Will be shorter. I bought 6 skeins. I'm not counting one. There's an extra one I bought because I'm paranoid. But of those 6 skeins, and what I'll do is I will make something else, or I'll donate it, or I'll sell that extra one. I spent $47.25 for the 6 skeins. 5 of them were on sale for $7.25. One was for $11. That gets me about 2,600 yards. So I've got a cushion of about 150 plus a skein. If I bought them full price, it would be $66. The pattern, if I had to guess, will be released in the same yarn that Rastus knit his in. So it's Pascali Nepal. The lowest price I could find was $11 per skein, but they're 50 grams. So I would need 13 skeins to hit the same length of yardage needed. So that would be $143. 3 times the cost. But the challenge with this one is because it's 13 skeins, and if I did them all in one color, nobody has it. So that's assuming $11 at the lowest price that I could find online, and they had 13 skeins, it would be $143. The cheapest with that $11 I could find that had 10 skeins. 10 skeins was the most you could order. I'm gonna guess that's a bag. That's the bulk order. They ordered 1. Nobody had bought any. You can get 10. I was able to find one shop that had 13 skeins in multiple colors, none of which I would use. And that total was $162.50. So, that's a $20 difference. So that's not a huge number, but still, compared to the $47.25 or even the $66 I would have spent full price for the cotton socks, it's more than double. They're both more than double. So I'll share that, and I'll try and put some of these numbers on here if I can figure out how to do that. So yeah. And with that, we will transition into recent acquisitions and obsessions. Look at that. You already heard about it. But the thing is, this is also my obsession. It's so soft. Like, I know it's going to pill. I just have to come to terms with that. I don't think it's going to pill super, super crazy. The reason I know is along the hem as I've been knitting, I can see it pilling a little bit from it, like moving around on my shirt as I'm knitting. But it's so soft, and I'm already like have plans of how do I make a sweatshirt out of this? What sweater do I adapt to use this to make a sweatshirt? Because I love a long sleeve t-shirt. I love a lightweight sweatshirt, and I could make my own. And there's some beautiful colors. Local yarn shop, she showed me the color samples, and there's some blues and greens and teals. Y'all know I'm here for that, and I haven't ordered it yet. I've got enough quantities for full garments, but I'm obsessed with it. Again, this is the blue that I got. It's so soft. I love it. I will be making, and if you want to see the 2 skeined up, obsessed. I will be making something else in this at some point in the future. The other thing that I got recently, so I'll do this first. Wild Violet Fibers had a trunk show at Tight Knit Roslindale, which is just up around the corner. I knew I didn't want to get another full skein of fingering. I have plenty of those folding around, so I was like, maybe I'll get some minis to tie in, to add into my jelly roll blanket, and I did. I got 5 of them. They're just, little 5 20-gram minis, all different colors. There's holiday lights, which, I can see it. It's a little... The green is a little more blue than I would think for actual holiday lights, but I love it. I kept going back to this one, so cerulean and black light blue. How that would be a beautiful contrast sweater of some sort. Also, I don't know why everybody keeps making black light yarn. Are you gonna wear this to a rave? I don't have any black lights in my house, but they were in this big basket, and these 2 just kept jumping out, and I kept going back to them. But black light, I also got Shocking Chartreuse. Now this is that makes it look like it's glowing in the dark, and honestly it is. It's a little bit darker. My screen is so bright. But like, yeah, I mean, it pretty much glows in the dark. Like, that is true to color. It's a little bit darker. And then the last one I got is one-of-a-kind watercolor. And it's these really rich blues and turquoises, and then there's an occasional, like, what's this, like a gold, by the way, gold, red. So like, yeah, this is a beautiful one-of-a-kind. So I got those. Those will go into my blanket eventually. You know, support a local dyer at a local store. And I got that. The last... Oh, I also got... So I showed these last time because I just picked them up. These are the Cocoa Knit stitch markers. These are the large ones. And I liked them so much I ordered the small ones because the large ones kept getting... I'm using a smaller project, a smaller needle for that, my Vilu. I ordered the small ones, and they're so smooth. These are so cute, the little ones. I'm going to lose them. I'm going to lose all of them. I know I am, but I just liked how smooth they were, and I needed to replace some of my lightning bolt stitch markers, so I got another set of those. But the big purchase, when we were, right before we went to North Carolina, the Strucket, so the strainer bucket, went on sale. And I bought one. I'd seen a couple of people talk about it recently. And so I was like, you know what? I do need something to block to soak my knits in. What I generally do is I have a bunch of these from Costco. I don't know how big they are. I don't know if it says. I have a bunch of these, and I have one that just stays empty, and I use it for soaking. But I knew this big old cardigan I just made was not going to soak in here. And I was like, okay, what in the world am I going to do? And so the Struckets went on sale, and I bought one. I wasn't 100% sure it would work. I mean, this is a heavy garment. Like, I mean, I don't, how many was this? Like 12, 13 skeins? Like, that's over a pound. Like, this is like 3 pounds. This has got to be like 2 or 3 pounds. Like, this is heavy, and it's large. So I knew it wasn't going to fit in there, and I was like, you know what? This was a good sale. Let me try it. And y'all, it works. It's not perfect. I'll talk about that in a second. And so I bought it, and I tried it, and it worked. Let me set this down. And that was the main reason I got it. So the features of the Strucket, and y'all know where this is going. Yes, I've got an affiliate code. They reached out to me after I shared something. I'll put it below. I'll also talk about it in a second. But the features are, it has a drain. So you can do this while it's sitting on the counter, and it can drain out. The part that I was most interested in is the feature where you can do this. So it can drain inside of it. So it's got these lips on this up here, and then again at this level inside. And so it rests on there, and so it can start to drain. That was one of the things I was like, is it going to be able to hold my cardigan? Yes, the answer is yes. It didn't tip over. And it worked. I thought it was great. Being able to lift out my cardigan like this, kind of shake it a little bit, get a little bit of the water out, and then set it right here was actually really helpful, because then, I could just let it drain into it, and then at the same time, drain out of the drain. How many times can I say drain? Someone let me know. And it worked. Like, it held that cardigan. And then I use it for the muscle barrel. Like, it's so small. They make a smaller one, but I was like, I don't need to. Use it for the muscle barrel. Use it for my secret test knit. So I've used it 3 times already. And I think, and it's great. I like it. There's 2 design things that I wish were different. I wish there was a lip on one side that you could do it like this, but I think it would tip over, so like, I get why they didn't do it. I wish there was a way that you could better stack it like this when it's drying. So I want it to dry upside down, this upside down, and then this on top of it. So generally I'm just drying it like this so that it can dry out. So those are just like total wish list things that like nobody was thinking about. I just think about it because I'm a weirdo. The two things that bother me, they're not negatives, but they're bothering me. One, this sits pretty far back. So this is the drain. I'm showing you the drain here. So the drain, if you look at it, see how long this is? It actually drains back here. So I didn't realize that it was that far back. So when I first did it, it just made a big mess on my counter. And thankfully it was close to the sink, so like it wasn't a huge mess. But you have to like kind of, this much of that has to be hanging over into the sink to then be able to drain. And it's fine. It worked. Like I said, it worked. But like, yeah, I wish there was a way this was a little bit closer to the edge, or that it came directly out of the edge, like the coolers. And that leads into, let's see if I can do it this way, into this. You can't really see it, but the way it drains is there's a channel right here. You can just barely see it if I do this. You can just see the channel. The channel needs to be deeper. Or not deeper, wider. Because I find that more often than not, once it's drained, there's still a decent amount of water in there. I just have to dump it out, which it's fine. It works better than the other thing. That cheap, awesome Costco thing that I store all my yarn in. But yeah, it works. Those are just two design changes. Oh, there you go. You can see it better there. So see this channel here? That's how the water comes out. So I would find myself rocking it back and forth to get water into it. But yeah, but that being said, 100% recommend. Comes in all sorts of colors. Again, I bought this myself because I wanted to try it. I was influenced by other people. And yeah, I've worked it. I'm looking forward to using it again. We've already had a conversation between me and Tim that is for yarn. You cannot use it to strain pasta or fruit or whatever it is you think you want to do. You can buy your own. I was like, you can use my discount code and go buy your own. He was not impressed with that. But that being said, I do have an affiliate link below if you want to do that. And the discount code is losing my knit. No periods, no spaces, all caps. I don't know how much you get off. Let me go look at that real quick. Like I said, I do have a discount code. There's an affiliate link down below. The discount code is losing my knit, all caps, no periods, and you'll get 15% off. I think the sale I bought mine was more, so I would not discourage you from keeping an eye out. I mean, I'd love for you to use mine just because like I said, I bought it myself to try it, to use it, and then they reached out to me afterward when I shared on Instagram that I had forgotten. I put my Trinigan in there, took the dog for a walk, and then 3 hours later was like, oh yeah, there's a sweater in there, a cardigan in there. So I shared that and they reached out and I was like, sure, why not? Yeah, so there's an affiliate link below and a discount code below if you're interested in purchasing one. I recommend it, and they've got different sizes. Yeah, so those are all of my acquisitions. I did also receive someone reached out about another gifted product, an affiliate thing. You'll hear more about that next month. It's connected to the bag that I'm going to sew. It's a little tenuous, but I was like, hey, okay, this seems pretty cool. I like the idea. It's going to make me do that. So I'm going to try a project video. You'll see that. So there's that. Now let's transition into TED Talk number 2 of the episode. So I don't know who all knows about this drama. This is another one I'm probably going to try and chunk out, upload as a separate video, so you can just go watch that one if you're interested, or you can skip this section. But back in February, it's Mezzo Makes. We're going to talk a little bit about Mezzo Makes, or as I've been referring to it, the Mezzo Mess. If you'll remember back in February, if you've been here before, I was super excited for her Taco Bell pre-orders. She did two, and I'll put a photo here on this side. Let's get over this way. I'll put a photo here on this side. It's the same one that you saw previously. It has become one of those stories that will live on in infamy within the yarn community, the fiber community. So I'm obsessed with drama. Love drama, not like drama TV shows, but like interpersonal drama, crazy stories, that sort of thing. And I have to go see what their second channel is. So I spent earlier, it was either this year or late last year, I went down the rabbit hole of Aspen in the Moment. And what Aspen does is they go through all of these dramas and they try and talk to everybody. They try and gather the information. And so, like, I watched these, like, you know, that Michael Jackson meme, like, the eating the popcorn, that was me. Like, watching these was like, are you kidding me? This happens? And they have 23 videos up there. Highly recommend going and looking at them. Their deep dives are fascinating. But I never thought I would be living in one. So, I'll do a quick timeline. I am not going to talk about the rumors that are out there. I'm just going to tell you my experience. So I was super excited about this. I ordered 4 skeins, so it was about a little over $120, $123.25. So not a small investment. 2 skeins each of the Baja Blast and the 90s Taco Throwback. I was going to make hats for some of my high school friends where we would spend all of our free time either at Taco Bell or a different restaurant that was regional and doesn't exist anymore. And I was so excited. I was going to make them little hats. And I was going to make one, probably a muscle burrow with stripes. And so I was excited when I did the pre-order. So that was back on, she announced the pre-order in February. The order opened on February 28th. Placed my order. Didn't think anything of it. Timeline was like, I don't know, 4 to 6 weeks. Looking back, there are all sorts of red flags I should have seen. And I now know to look for. So I did that, placed the order. Didn't hear anything for a while. At some point, and I don't have the dates, if I remember, I will put them on here. But at some point in April or May, Mezzo Makes posted on her stories, or no, on her grid, her Instagram grid, that she had some sort of bug infestation and her entire stock was lost. First off, that sucks. If that happens, that is horrible. Like, you have to like clean your entire house, scrub your house, get rid of everything, disinfect everything, do the like in the bags in the car, like try and kill everything. So like I took it at face value. I was like, oh, that absolutely sucks. That's horrible. During that time, so this is 3 months after the pre-order, apparently someone had reached out to her on LinkedIn because no, she wasn't responding. Nope. Okay. I'm sticking to my part. I found that out through research. Nothing had happened. And then, so that was in May. In June, I started to get concerned because there was no email, there was no information, there was no grid post on Instagram about updates or statuses. And I've since gone back and looked, and there were a couple of stories, Instagram stories I'll show you right here, where she talked about the LinkedIn. My favorite quote was, "It's just yarn, babe." No, it's not. It's money. It's money that we gave you to get yarn. And then there was a later post a couple of weeks later where she was like, just do a chargeback like a normal person. And then a little bit later after that, when she began shipping, to asking people to cancel the chargebacks. And that's not how it works. We'll just be very clear. That's not how it works. So all of this happened, and then end of June 30th, actually, I got a shipping notification. It's like, okay, cool. It's finally coming. This is exciting. We went on vacation, and then we came back on July 7th. I sent her an email. I said, hey, just checking in. I got this shipping notification. Label had been printed. Do you have any updates when I could expect my yarn? Didn't hear anything. That's when I started to do research. A week later, sent her a follow-up email. Hey, I know things have been hectic. I saw some of your posts. I happened to catch about the bugs. I'm sorry about that. That really sucks. But your lack of communication is now concerning me. I would love an update on my order. And nothing. So we are mid-July from a February 28th pre-order. And she stopped emailing people. She stopped responding to people. She's not answering. And then it just from mid-July until this week, it's exponentially increased. There are now, she did apparently ship some orders. They're not showing up as advertised. They're very washed out. My order still has not shipped. She still has not responded. So towards the end of the month, I waited another week. I submitted a complaint via Shopify. Didn't hear anything. And then I sent her a message and said, hey, if I don't receive any updates, I'm going to complain to the appropriate authorities. And I did. I sent her an email the following Tuesday. I think that was a Friday. The following Tuesday, assuming, okay, this is a side hustle. It's not her full-time job. I'll give her the 2 days over the weekend plus the Monday to clear out her inbox. And this was after 2 unanswered emails and a Shopify unanswered complaint. So that Monday or Tuesday, I submitted complaints to 3 attorneys general. So Ohio, where her business is registered, New York, where she lives, and her business should be registered, and Massachusetts, because we have protections in the state of Massachusetts for online purchases, even if they're not from in the state, so even if they're out of state. And then I sent her a message and I said, hey, I just want a refund. I don't want the yarn. I have submitted complaints to these 3 people, or these 3 offices. If you give me a refund, I'll withdraw my complaints. Have not heard anything from her. I have heard from Massachusetts and Ohio. They were both very clear. They're like, hey, this is a voluntary process. The business doesn't have to participate, but it's better if both do. We can't force them to do anything, but what happens is it goes on record for bad business practices. So I was like, yeah, absolutely, I'm gonna report this because it's fraud. She has stolen money from me because I have not received my goods. Meanwhile, that shipping label is still there. Nothing has happened. But it gets even wilder. So just in the last 48 hours, so we're talking the week of July 28th, she first moved her account to private. So her mezzo.makes on Instagram to private, and then within 24 hours had deleted it. Huge red flags. So we are clearly not getting our yarn. We are clearly not getting our money back. So I've been encouraging people to report her. This is theft. It is failure to provide goods and services. Most states have protections for that. It is bad business practices. All of this could have been solved if she had, at the beginning, communicated with us and said, hey, there's a delay. Hey, there's another delay. I am working towards it. Here are updates. She has our email addresses. It should have been via email, not stories, not Instagram. She works in communications. She should know this. It's basic marketing 101. Over-communicate. Explain what's happening if you can. And give updates, status updates, or start providing refunds. I get life happens. It sucks. Life can happen. Life can slap you in the face and then punch you in the gut and then turn around and slap you in the face again. I'm not discounting that. It does. But if you are running a business, whether it is a hobby or a side hustle, there are consumer protection laws for now. There are ways to protect yourself as a consumer. Part of that is reporting bad business practices to attorneys general of states. And so it has been a wild ride. I don't know for sure if it'll happen. All of this happened so that June 30th date was 2 days after 120 days from the pre-order date. And that is, so most credit cards will give you 60 days to dispute a charge. Some give you 120. I did not submit because I got that shipping notification. I was like, okay, so it's actually happening. Like, cool, this is great. The same day that I complained to the attorneys general, I called my credit card and explained everything that had happened, how it worked, the pre-order, the ghosting, no information from the customer, from the business, and provided documentation of all of my communications. I sent her social media posts as well. Thankfully, my credit card has opened a dispute, so they will do the same thing. They will attempt to contact her. They will attempt to get information. I don't think they're going to get any information based on everything that we've witnessed over the past 3 months, but mostly over the past 6 weeks. So hopefully I will get my money back, but I will never get my product. What really saddens me, and I've talked to a couple of independent dyers about this, and a couple of people shared my post, is that what she has done will impact other small dyers. I heard from a couple of people that things like this already had impacted them. So like I am now, like I already don't order mystery or advent calendars because I'm afraid of what I'm going to get from a color perspective. But now I'm afraid I'm just not going to get the product. So like that will then have a domino effect on other small indie dyers of people like only wanting to buy in-stock product, which encourage 100% do that, because after this I don't know if I'm ever going to do a pre-order again. I would rather wait, cross my fingers they're going to have some excess stock and try and buy it then, versus doing a pre-order and just getting burned. So that's, yeah. And it just, like, you don't think you would be in that, like, yeah, they're red flags. Like, and I encourage you, first off, I encourage you, if you bought the Taco Bell yarn, or apparently whatever her January was, or any of her clubs, dispute it now. The fact that she deleted an account with over 10,000 followers, you're not going to get your yarn. I'm sorry to be the one to tell you that if you haven't figured it out yet, but you're not going to get it. Her website is still up, and she is still accepting orders for her snack time club. That is wild. If I were running a business and I ran into an issue, I would turn off all orders. I wouldn't turn the website off, but I would turn off the ability to place any orders, because you're so far underwater at that point. How do you keep doing that? So like you can go on there right now, mezzomix.com, and place an order, but you're not going to get it. So apparently this has been a problem since January. What happened in January didn't come out until after the Taco Bell pre-order. But I encourage you, one, if you ordered, dispute it and report her to the appropriate attorneys general. Check your state laws. Two, if you want more information and you are directly connected to this, there are plenty of posts both on Ravelry, the Demon Trolls group, and Reddit Craftsnark. I think there's a lot of stuff on there that is, what's the word? Aspersions. I think some of it is rumors. So, definitely don't lean into that stuff. But go see the facts. You can see, if you didn't take screenshots of the yarn or of her stories, they're there. You can still access them. So use those to build your case, and go get your refund. Try your credit card. My credit card company was receptive to looking into it, even though it was well past the time. I had to talk to a different department because it was past the date, but they were friendly and they talked to me about it. But yeah, there's some wild rumors on there that I don't know if they're true, so I won't share those, but my experience was a bad one, and it will impact my ordering from small indie dyers moving forward, because I'm going to always be a little bit gun shy, a little bit hesitant of whether or not I'm going to get my product, because as you can see, I am very cheap. So I have to really be obsessed with something to want to spend that much money for it, and then this time I got burned. So, moral of the story, do your research ahead of time. I definitely recommend Ravelry Demon Trolls. They have a list of dyers who have had issues in the past. They have a list of dyers who've never had issues. Like I've now found it to be a very good resource. And I think they're better than Craftsnark of sort of, if it goes off tangent, they shut down, they lock the thread, so like you can just go read the facts. But do your research before you buy. This has been a mess. I do feel bad for her. Like, I didn't think she was a bad person. I don't think she's a bad person. I don't know her. I've never interacted with her until this was brought to my attention, but something happened and she was willing to shut down an account with 10,000 plus followers to avoid, I'm going to say, responsibility, because I don't know how many people ordered, but let's just say there were 10 people who ordered 4 skeins like I did. That's over $1,300. If there were 100, that's $13,000. That's theft. That's failure to provide goods and services. She should be reported, and she should have to pay for it. The idea of saying go do a chargeback, that's her stealing the money. Our credit cards not getting the money, and us getting the credit card credit back. So something happened. Don't know what it was, but it just protect yourselves. Protect yourselves. Do your research. When you come across a bad business or bad business practices, try and talk to the vendor. If they don't respond, report them to the appropriate places, because they should be held accountable. Yeah, it was a wild month for yarn drama. What can I say? I mentioned it earlier, but like the knit picks thing freaked me out. I had ordered, again, you can go read about it, Craft Snark, Ravelry. There are not a lot of photos that are evidence that show what had happened. I did bag all of my yarn as soon as I got it. Thankfully it wasn't wool, so I was like, just in case. I had already had it, but I was like, well, let me bag it just in case. But yeah, you can go read about that. But again, like, trust your instincts, trust your research, go look it up, figure out what you can do. Yeah, so I don't have a big sign off. Upcoming knits, those finest kinds, which I showed before, are coming up quick. I will sass Tim. I was working on this and he goes, well, when are you going to make me something? I'm like, I make you stuff all the time. Like, I have this box I have out that I was showing you for blocking. This is yarn for Tim's projects. Most of it's hats. You see some reds and greens. That's a pair of striped socks I need to figure out how to make. I was like, how dare you ask me that? How dare you ask me that? I made him 2 hats earlier this year already. But yeah, so I will start on our finest kind soon. And I think those will be my next couple of cast-ons. But yeah, so that is this episode. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you stuck around this long, thank you so much. If you didn't, you missed it. Let me know what you've been working on. Have you had any issues similar to what I just had with Mezzo Makes? How do you protect yourself when you're purchasing yarn? And let me know what you're excited about. I'm excited about a bunch of stuff. Like, it was a sad way to end, but like, I'm excited. I'm going out to Denver in a couple of weeks. Gonna go to the knit group out there. Oh, also, Kathy, if you're watching from Roslindale, Tight Knit Rosie, hope you're watching. Hope we'll see you next week. You weren't at Knit Night, and we were like, oh, where's Kathy? The time was different. So totally understandable if you couldn't make it. But yeah, I'll be doing Knit Night there, and then the men's Knit Night group that I go to in Dorchester, I think is going to start back up. I've got some conflicts, but hopefully I'll be able to do that. And then I'll get to see Denver Knit Night too soon, hopefully. But yeah, let me know what you're working on below, what you're excited about. Tips and tricks to buying yarn online from Indy Dyers. And until next time, until September, I am casting off for now. Have a great month.